Are you mentally fighting with yourself about money? No need, we'll do it for you. I'm your host Arka, and we welcome you to our segment Rich or Regret, where we find out if your next financial decision will make you rich or make you regret it. Now, today's topic is pretty interesting. We will be tackling the classic debate: which is the better choice when it comes to housing, buying or renting? It's an age-old question, with some people leaning toward purchasing their first home while others prefer renting. Given the volatility in property prices since the pandemic, the discussion around buying versus renting has become even more heated online. So, we invited two debaters to present the pros and cons of owning versus renting your first home. Now, on my side here, we have one who advocates for renting a property. So one, could you tell us why you prefer renting and what benefits it offers, compared to owning a home?
Hey guys, so my name is Juan and I am on team Rent a Home. So I'm all about for renting because renting, it offers you flexibility, okay? That's one thing. And then another thing is financial ease. It's not that of a financial burden for you, and also freedom from the responsibilities and also the risks associated with home ownership. So to me, it's the ideal choice, for those who prioritize mobility, also lower costs, and more carefree lifestyle. I like to live my carefree, I'm still young.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow,
Right. So we have go with the flow one, and now let's hear it from Pavitra, who favors owning her own home. So Pavitra, could you share with us why you believe that buying your own home would be the smarter choice per se?
All right, thank you, Harka. Hi, everyone. My name is Pavitra, and I'm all on team buying a house because, first of all, it is a tangible asset and it creates lasting values such as long-term financial growth, stability, and as well as freedom. And in my own thoughts, I feel like renting is like a temporary replacement based on where you are in life. And everyone's end goal is to buy a house.
Mm-hmm. So you think you should get there sooner rather than later?
Yes, exactly.
All right, thank you, Pavi. And with that, let the debate begin. Now, Anna, let's keep it civil and may the best debater win. First question: flexibility versus stability. Does renting offer more flexibility in the lifestyle, or does owning a home provide greater long-term stability? I believe we'll let ladies go first. Okay, Bobby, take it away.
So we shall start with flexibility. Speaking about flexibility, we will have complete control over our house, starting from the dust to the ceiling. We don't have to ask any permission from the landlord, let it be any changes, renovations, or any upgrades. And on the other hand, I think renting, I understand that you don't have to worry about paying this and that, but if you have like a desire to like hang a picture or something, I think you should ask the landlord if I could,
drill a hole in the wall.
Drill a hole or something.
So you're saying since you are the landlord, you have complete control over the home. Okay. Anything to add to that?
That's all. And stability, obviously, that the place is set, that place is yours. And also you are actually building equity and how to say, building wealth by paying the mortgage price. Yes, whereby on renting, you are only feeling the landlord's pocket.
All right. One, stability versus flexibility. What's your point of view?
I think the main point here is flexibility. All right, for a renter, myself as a renter, this level of flexibility is beyond comparison. Yeah, sure, you've got the stability of, wanting to drill a hole or do some renovations for your house and everything, but that can be argued as well because you can always ask your landlord for permission. It's not that they're going to say no lah. There's always, you can counter one. So I think in terms of stability, there's ways that you can go around it. But when it comes to flexibility, you can't match it. Okay? For example, those who value that of mobility, whether it's for career opportunities, you never know where your career might take you in the future. You want to go to Singapore, you can rent in Singapore. You want to go to Johor, you can rent in Johor. Maybe it will take you to Sarawak or Sabah. you get the opportunity to rent a house without having to, you know, be stuck in one place. You know? Other than that, there's also personal reasons why people want to rent, and also it just allows them to move with ease. All right, it doesn't make it difficult for them to just stay one spot for the rest of their entire lives. All right, at this point, when we're at a young age, yeah, we're all at a very young age, we need that sort of freedom, that flexibility. And then also, unlike homeowners, renters are not tied down, of course, by financial commitments like mortgages. You don't pay your mortgage, that's it, bye-bye.
Isn't a rent essentially the same thing?
But rent, it's flexible in a way that you get to control. I'll tell you an example, okay? When I was out of a job for about 3 months, my landlord allowed me not to pay rent for 3 whole months. And then I was allowed to pay back after a while, in slowly pay
I
back.
feel like that is
But that is
a
depends
rare
on
case.
which
Yes,
landlord
True,
it depends on
true.
your luck. You were lucky
Yeah.
enough to have a very nice landlord.
Exactly.
That might not be the case for everyone.
That's
which
true.
I believe, for Pavi's point, she would prefer being her own landlord that
Yes,
way.
because I know that the mortgage rate is fixed, whereby when it comes to renting, you know, the landlord might increase or even take back the house.
But then I believe one would point out a mortgage, if you don't pay it, you could lose the house altogether.
That is
Fair enough,
true.
Fair enough. So there's a win-win situation, I guess.
Now, earlier you mentioned mobility, right? Individuals may want to relocate for their own reasons, whether it's work or personal. And some might think that renting could be more practical as an option. Or do you think that homeowners can accommodate frequent moves, Pavi?
Yes, we can by smart decision. For example, like I have a place at Subang, but then I need to move to Johor. We have to remember that buying a house is actually an investment property. So we can sign up for something like Airbnb, iBile, Speed Homes while we are away. And we can use such money to pay our next rental or even the mortgages prices.
So you still want to rent after this,
so
right?
you're going to rent.
Yes, but still, I'm still getting some money from that place. It's not going to stand still
Oh,
like
I
what
believe her
one...
first home would be one she owns. Then renting is okay in her books.
If there's any job allocation, obviously I need to leave that place, right? But my place is just not going to be like dusted that I can leave it for investment.
In the end, home will always be there, is what you're trying
Yes,
to say. All right.
exactly.
Juan, any thoughts you can refute that?
Talking about practicality, yeah, sure, you can rent it out for Airbnb. Sometimes it's okay, but then it's still going to be on the back of your head. You know, you still have to manage that Airbnb. You're still going to have to manage that home of yours. So you won't be able to let it go fully. You're not going to relocate for a job. If you had to relocate for a job, it's still going to be at the back of your head. Hey, what's happening to my house right now? You know. But for a person who rents a house, they don't need to worry about that. They rent it. When they're done with their lease or when they're done with their agreement, after their lease term is up, then they move on. They don't have to worry about it.
It's easy to get back the deposit because there is something called delaying deposits, finding deposits for the next what do you call that, your house or
The next area that you want to rent
That's
at.
still fine because sometimes the deposit is not as much as having to pay a down payment for a house, which can cost a lot, which we'll cover probably later on. But now we're talking about mobility, and when it comes to mobility, there's no way about it. When you rent a house, it's easier for you to be mobile. You can go quickly and easily from one place to another without the hassle. There's no hassle. There's no at the back of your mind about anything. You can travel even internationally, and for personal or professional reasons, and you won't have to worry about, oh, did I leave my tap running, or do I need to still pay my
I
electricity
believe the
bill?
tap running, I think it applies to you, whether you own the home or whether it's rented. I think that's a pretty universal problem there.
Sometimes the landlord is the one who pays the bills for the water and
I
the
don't
electricity.
agree with
And
that.
who
You
pays
know
the
why?
landlord one? Ah.
I also have a point.
What?
Now, for example, you're renting at this place and then you have some of your few things that you need to bring to another place. Okay, and you need like all these reallocation services, whereby if I have my own place, I just have to bring myself. If I need to
So it's a permanent storehouse.
yes.
Okay.
You can put it that way.
Buying a house? No, you buy a storehouse. That's what you get.
Okay, there's also the question about when it comes to avoiding the complex and also time-consuming process of buying and selling a home every time you want to relocate. Yeah, sure, okay. It's going to be difficult. You buy a home and you want to relocate. For example, Pavi, you buy a home here in Malaysia and all of a sudden you got a job in London, UK. You're now going to emigrate there, you're going to move there forever. You're not going to be coming back to Malaysia. You're not going to just leave your house there just to gather dust, like you say. So
There's a greater investment option can be for my siblings, can be for my kids.
but then you still have to sell it, right?
All right,
to your
let's talk
siblings.
about the
No,
investment that
I
she brought
wouldn't
up, all
sell
right?
it.
The investment potential of buying a house. Is it a better financial investment compared to the potential savings and opportunities from renting? Let's say you choose to make your house an investment. That means all your money goes into the mortgage. Whereas renting, there's a chance you save money, a little extra to invest in other things. Who knows, maybe crypto or some other whatever is available. So, what is your points here? Let's start off with one.
Okay. I won't deny that, of course, owning a home has potential returns. Like you mentioned, you can rent it out, you can Airbnb. It's foolproof. When it comes to owning a home, property always gains in terms of interest.
Correct.
The longer you own the property or the land that you bought it on, the more it will come to value. But then I also have to argue that renting can sometimes be the smarter financial choice, especially now, especially in this time and age when we have to go home now because it's the end of the
he
day.
wants to go home
you know,
now. He
to
wants
my
to
rental
install an
home.
alarm.
And to my own home.
But okay, that's the thing. It can be the most financial savvy or the smarter option because right now we are in an economy where we're not 2 generations ago. 2 generations ago, our parents, they can earn a decent salary and buy the home for a fraction of the price that we are paying now to own a home. You know, even the down payment that we have to put in now is what they would pay for the full house back in the day. So the current times economically, it may be the financial smarter decision. And renting also allows individuals to avoid those hidden costs of owning a home, you know, such as property taxes, maintenance repairs, also insurance. These are a lot of, you know, costs that will pile up and now you have to pay it. Would you be able to afford it? Don't know. But that's the thing. In this time and age, when it comes to renting a home, there's no hidden charges. You just pay your rental, whatever it is, and that's it.
That being said, you mentioned it's much harder to get a home, right? Wouldn't you think, Pavi, that buying a home in that case makes it that more precious of an investment since it's so hard to come by?
Okay, so obviously if one has to plan that to get a house, we would know all the, like what he said, all these hidden charges and whatever not. And no one's going to fall into the pit without knowing what is it like buying a house. But the thing is, it builds equity. It can even build equity overnight. You get what I mean? And the return is going to be fruitful. You know, and how to say, like there won't be any hassle when you want to sell it off as well, because we have something called this property guru, real estate agents to help us sell. And then you will be actually getting more than what you are paying now.
So you're tipping into the financial impact, which leads me to my next question. So over time, oh, you want something to say?
I do.
Okay, I'll let you have your piece.
Okay,
Let him have his moment.
no. Okay, I want to argue the fact that when it comes to owning a home, it can go both ways in terms of value. You might build a home or you might buy a home in an area that has no value. Or over the time you thought, oh, this place is going to be built up, it's going to be the next One Utama or the next Damansara. But then, hello, this home...
But there's no places like that in KL anymore.
Exactly,
For example,
but you want to know, like, it still gives the renter the freedom of, you know, choice. We can just choose to go live in these high scale or desirable neighborhoods like the city centers without having to worry about our home not being in a good part of the city or the location. You know, you pay so much money, you put in the investment to go live in a place or location where you think it's going to be a really good location in the near future. It's going to be the next big
It town.
the it town, you know. But then we've seen so many examples right here in Malaysia where people have oversold their house there, but then in the end nothing happens. No investment, the malls that they were supposed to build there were not being built in time, and it's just taking a long process
There's
for them.
obviously more pros and cons to it, but there's definitely more pros to it.
But then, Bobby, do you go looking for a house that's close to a mall? Or do you have your own preferences when you go house hunting?
I don't mind if it's closer to a mall. I think it will be more easier for me to get things like that. Yeah.
But to
So-
each their own now when it comes to what
Sorry?
neighborhood they want.
Sorry.
One was saying like what happens if you accidentally buy a property in a neighborhood that you don't end up enjoy living in? Do you feel like there's a way out of that?
Okay, so this is when the smart decision comes in. Like before buying a place, right? Definitely, we will do all this kind of investigation, whether there's flood being here before, or
Yes, that
what kind of neighborhood that we have, and we have to see the both side, like the bad and the good side. Like the good side, maybe okay, we have schools, hospitals, yada yada yada, and then the bad side, like we can ask them like by how to say, like safety wise
Research.
research
Do
basically,
your
yeah.
research.
So it's not like what one is saying that it's a bad option getting a house. No, you can get anywhere.
You
and
just gotta put the work in.
Yes, exactly.
Alright.
And even if it's bad, there is going to be a way to sell it off.
All right. That depends on your skill as a seller.
Yes.
But let's talk about a financial impact of a house, right? Over time, which option is more cost effective? Buying a house or renting a place? Okay, who wants to go first?
Okay,
All
I'll go
right.
first. Okay, I'm gonna admit, while home ownership has its financial benefits over time, like the question states, renting, I believe, can be the more cost-effective for many people. All right, especially in the short to medium term. All right, because renting, you avoid the large upfront costs associated with buying a house, like the down payment, the closing costs, the moving expenses, because you're gonna have to move all your furniture into the house, right? You know, so this makes renting more, how can I say, affordable for people who may not have the savings or the financial security to cover these initial costs. So in addition to that, you know, renters are not responsible for property taxes and also major maintenance, repairs, all that. It's a significant amount, and it's also unexpected expenses for homeowners. So financially, there is a lot to consider. And short to medium term, renters will always get the short straw. They'll get the better option out of this.
Was that a freudian slip there? Anyways, Poppy, what about you? What's your take on it?
Okay, how to say? He is right. He is right that we don't have to worry about these, about all these and extra. But the thing is,
Careful.
wait. But the thing is, okay, now paying the, what do you call that, mortgage, okay, that might decrease, but your value will increase in the future. And that will put me to sleep in peace. I don't have to worry about,
Your future.
yes, I don't have, it's like investing for my future self. Okay, yes, renting should be, renting is easy, yes, but what about if we face like consequences like what happened yesterday at, what's this place, Taman Melawati?
Or the flood.
Yes, and PDRM asked them to, what do you call that?
Evacuate?
Yes, immediately.
Okay.
So what would you do?
But what if your home, the one you
It's
bought?
still going to be there. I just have to move myself out, maybe
Okay.
to a hotel or something.
So, okay, my next point will counter this, which is having to save money as a renter. All right, that you get the flexibility to save money, but then also you talked about natural disasters. All right, now imagine if you're a renter and you experience these natural disaster, or there was flooding in your area, and then the market of the area, it goes down. Things in your area become more expensive. Like you go to, you know, all these shops and everything.
Inflation.
Inflation. We know that a roti canai in Stapak might be a little bit, cheaper than that of a roti canai in Montiara, So we as renters, we now have the option. We can go move to somewhere where it is more affordable to us because that saves money in the long run. So financial stability, where you can decide where you want to live and we can deal with that market fluctuation. If it's getting too expensive for us, all the things that are close to us, or the grocery stores, or the mamas, or whatever the place may be, if things are getting a little bit too expensive, we can okay, this place is getting a little bit too expensive now for my pocket. I need to live within my means. So why don't I go?
If that's the case, you need to keep moving.
Exactly.
From one
Then
place
we've
to
got
another.
the flexibility to
Like
do
I'm
that.
at Stapa and it's expensive. I'm moving to PJ, it's expensive. I'm moving to Cheras, it's expensive.
And
But
not to forget the deposit every time you
Exactly.
move.
Deposit
the moving
is
costs.
fine because you'll still get the deposit back.
It's not going to be that easy, guys. It's not
You
gonna be that
may
easy.
think that way, but I'm a good renter. I've never made any
Then
problems.
I will try to be
Share
a
your
landlord
skills
like
then.
yours.
Share your skills.
So these,
It does seem that both our debaters here made very solid points. So let's have a quick recap on both sides. Starting with one who prefers, renting his place, and he feels that renting provides unmatched mobility for career changes. You can dip and dash anytime you like for travel or personal reason, allowing for easy relocations. And renters avoid hidden costs like property taxes that you mentioned, maintenance, repairs, and homeowners insurance. Renters, on the other hand, on the same hand, more like, they're not impacted by market fluctuations, enabling them to adapt without the burdens of ownership. Okay, keep it down. You haven't won yet. Now, money saved from down payments and repairs can be invested in stocks, bonds, or retirement funds. So you have different ways to spend your money than just focusing it on one thing. Whereas Pavi here, who's preferring to own her own house, feels that home ownership offers stability and a secure living environment that renting cannot provide. In the end, you can always go to one place that you can rely on. And as homeowners make mortgage payments, they gradually gain ownership of their property, which can appreciate in value if you pick the right place. And you mentioned earlier, research is key. Now, fixed rate mortgages provide predictable payments, contributing to long-term financial stability. Homeowners can benefit from tax deductions on mortgage interest and property taxes, reducing the overall ownership cost that one was talking about earlier. So it seems that, from my view, both sides have presented really strong arguments, but it's up to you, our viewer, the audience, to decide who won this debate. Drop a comment below and tell us, who do you think made the better case? Team rent or team own? Be sure to follow us at KleverStock.my on our social media channels, and don't forget to visit www.KleverStock.live to watch our live sessions from Monday to Friday, where we cover everything finance. That was Rich or Regret. See you on the next one.
KleverStock, the ultimate financial insight for everyone.